Good evening and welcome to the FE Bar. I am your host, Jack Jordan Maynard, and joining me for the next 2 hours to discuss everything about the Diriyah E-Prix is Jack Pickering. Tonight, we will be looking at both races in Diriyah, discussing if Formula E have been scared by the peloton style of racing and have gone the wrong way with energy management this season as the processional races carried on in Diriyah. Nick Cassidy now has a 19-point lead in the championship. Is he the early favourite for the championship? We will discuss that and much more tonight on the FE Bar, the only place where you, the fans, have your say on the world of Formula E. And Mr. Pickering, how are you this evening, mate? Welcome aboard.
I'm certainly less energetic than you, Jack. But yeah, no, I thought we had some stellar races in Diriyah. The Saturday one, yeah, a bit so-so, but the Friday one was a return to what Formula E usually is. It was a genuinely fantastic race, and I loved it. It was genuinely up there with one of the best races we've had in the last couple of years.
The Friday one?
The Friday one, yeah. Okay. Friday one was mega.
Oh, really? You thought the Friday one was good?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Okay, I'm interested because I suppose the whole thing with Formula E at the moment is the races have been much different. I think that's what we want to talk about tonight, and that's what we want you guys to talk about when you come on. And what we'll be asking is, what have you thought of the first couple of races? Because to me they're very different, right? They're very different to what we usually have, right? Considering last season we had the peloton style races, and I think that this season we've seen it's been harder to overtake, right? You have to admit, it's Pico. It's been much harder to overtake this season compared, I think, to last season, especially at Diriyah. Diriyah is a track, right, which is known. You know, it's got that famous Eduardo Mortara double overtake. We saw none of that, and it's been that turn 18. We've seen overtake year after year after year, and it was so difficult.
Yeah, on the Friday race, there were multiple times where I was screaming at my screen. It was quite exciting, that race, especially the battle for second place between Mitch, Jev, Bird, and Cassidy. It was very exciting that to watch. But the thing is, like, we know from the past, like, it doesn't Formula E, you don't need to have all these spectacular overtakes to produce a great race. The one that sticks very heavily in the mind is when we went back to Punta del Este in season 4. And Lucas di Grassi was stuck behind Jeff for the entire race, but it was one of the best races of that season. So yeah, I think definitely the Friday race in Diriyah was leaps and bounds better than Mexico, and I think that's what we needed. Saturday, yeah, they went the wrong way with the laps. They should have gone for a lap more than a lap less. But even then, they were still struggling quite much to get to the end. But yeah, it's made me. I think from a fan's point of view, because obviously we get the accreditation, we get to chat to all these drivers and everything, and it's fantastic. We love it to bits. But we are fans of the sport, and we do want to see the sport in the best shape possible. And yeah, I think that they went the wrong way on the amount of laps on the Saturday race. Would have been nice to see a few extra laps instead to make it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But let's talk Cassidy right quickly, because we're going to get onto sort of the race and the overtaking and that stuff a little bit later. But let's talk Cassidy first, right? Because obviously he now has a 19-point lead in the championship. I know it's early days, right? But consistency is key. And it was kind of interesting what he said, and we'll hear from Cassidy at some point, is that, you know, he was expecting a bad day at some point. For me, Cassidy now, I think he's so consistent that I think already at this stage of the championship, he's got to be one of the early favourites. And if you're Jake Dennis and what happened, and we'll talk about what happened to Jake Dennis on Saturday a little bit later. But for Cassidy now, the start of the season he had, and he's been saying it's the best start of a season of a championship he's had. Like, it's looking good already.
Yeah, honestly, his time at Jaguar could not have started any better. 2/3 and a win. That is how you build a championship charge already. And like as you said, he's now 19 points at the top of the table. And yeah, and he's now got a nice period of time to celebrate the Diriyah win before we head to Sao Paulo in 7 weeks' time. But yeah, he's really clicked with that team really, really well, and I think that's what Jaguar were hoping, because they signed Nick with the intention of I said in the FEZ show before Mexico City, if Jag don't win the championship this year, it would be a sort of failure on their behalf, because they've gone balls to the wall basically. That they've done a big signing with Nick Cassidy to partner their star driver Mitch Evans, and Nick's had the best start to the season I think anyone could have possibly had, and I think he's definitely had it's definitely for Mitch. Mitch is he's sort of struggling now. Like, yes, Mitch was probably going to finish ahead on the Friday, but that last lap do or die move on Jev didn't work out, and he ended up finishing 5th. So
yeah, we'll talk Mitch in a little bit later on. Obviously, we're talking Cassidy at the moment. We've got the Cassidy interview coming up. But before we start the interview, just saying some hi to people in chat, because obviously the people in chat, it's great to have you. So we've got Fiercely Electric in there. No Jacket Pico yet. Nikki's in there. It's behind. It's behind. It
clicked on the back of the chair.
Yeah.
I thought I'd wear it for the big first one, and I've sort of toned it down to just like a Hawaiian shirt today.
Back to the usual. We've got Saz in there. Saz and Luti's in there as well. Evening. Nikki's there as well, and lovely stuff. We'll read your comments a little bit later on, but there's one thing that's different to this show than what we did last time, and we're going to play a game. So that last 15 minutes of the show, we're going to play a game. And we're going to play a game called Lies. So we want you to get involved with that, because obviously it won't work. So it's a simple game. We'll come up with a little scenario, formulary based, right? So we all kind of know the topic, right? So we all know the topic. But it'd be great for you to join the Discord if you haven't already, right? There's a link in the description, and we'll be literally playing Lies. If you've seen Sky Sports News, if you're from the UK, you might be familiar with Lies. If not, it's a simple game. So what we thought, just to start before we carry on, should we do a dummy run?
Yeah, I will say that there was a show on the BBC back in must be about 10 years ago, presented by Nick Knowles, called Who Dares Wins.
I need my mobile.
And it was basically that. It's basically that, apart from you just basically you go, oh, I could name 8, you can name 9, and then you say, no, you can't, I'm out, and then that person has to name that many people in that category.
So basically 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds, that's what you've got. I'm going to get a timer on my phone. So basically, this is what will be in the last 15 minutes of the show. This is what we are going to do, and we want you to come on and have a go. So, Peak, I'm going to test you, right?
Okay.
We'll test ourselves, right? We'll test ourselves, because you have to tell me lies. So you could say I'm lying. Right, so in 30 seconds, I reckon I'm going to say I can name 8 Formula E drivers. So just don't... Eight Formula E drivers in this season's...
in this
season's calendar. This season's calendar, 8. Right? I'm going to say I can do 8 in 30 seconds. What do you think I'm lying, or do you think I'm telling the truth? I'm probably lying, to be honest with you.
I will raise that and go 9.
Right, 10.
11.
12.
13.
14.
15.
Lies.
Okay.
15. So you got 15 Formula E drivers to name in 30 seconds, right? So everyone count, make sure he gets this right, and then we'll go back to the show, right? But this is effectively what we're doing in the last 15 minutes of the show. So if you want to get involved, this is what we'll be playing.
Like limber up or something.
Right, ready? Are you ready? Right?
Yeah,
your 30 seconds, Mr. Pickering, start now.
Nick Cassidy, Mitch Evans, Sebastian Buemi, Robin Frines, Antonio Felix da Costa, Pascal Wehrlein, Jake Dennis, Norman Nato, Eduardo Mortaro, Nick De Vries, Lucas Di Grassi, Nico Muller, Samba, Jake Hughes, Sasha Fenestraz. That's 15.
Boom, that is 15. You did that in 18 seconds, so well played. Right, so we were talking Nick Cassidy, so if you want to come and play that game a little bit later on, right, come on the show. Last 15 minutes, about 9:45, right? Should have said 22, considering you probably should have, but we wanted to get the whole...
That's why I was shocked when you said 8. When you said 8, I was like,
I picked a number to start with. You know, the pressure gets to you. Yeah, but I'll probably name like Taylor Barnard or something like that, like one of the rookies. But by mistake, the pressure getting to me. But anyway, right, moving on swiftly to the show. So what we're going to do now is we'll hear from Nick Cassidy and see what he said after. Now, this footage, we unfortunately not come from the press conference itself, but it's come from our friends at Electric Motor News, Italian website, and our good friend Diego, who covers the Brazilian side of things. He caught up with Nick Cassidy, and we're going to hear from him now.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You feel really like a star. Like
developing, and you saw how close the race was. I mean, I was holding up a train of many cars. So everyone's so fast and it's so close.
and now Brazil.
Now Brazil, which will be the same.
And before celebration.
It's 7 weeks, we reset, we do some testing, and we try to come out stronger again.
All right, thank you. All the best.
Okay, so it looks like there was maybe some issues with the sound there. Sound returns, facts. I don't know why the sound cut in and out. But basically, if you could read Portuguese, it was great. But if you couldn't read Portuguese, then not very good. But never mind. Yeah, it was a good tune in the background. But what I wanted to, what Nick Cassidy, what I thought was really interesting, was he understands that there's bad days are coming, and you could argue that for Jake Dennis, who we'll hear from in a second, that it was a bad day per se, right? For him, second race in Diriyah. So I suppose he's got his head firmly knowing that yes, he's got the championship lead now, but something could happen along the way where it doesn't go his way. Bit like last season, the end of last season for him.
Yeah, he said that he's had all good days since Portland, but I think he's forgotten Rome 2 and London 1. Because we were there in London, and you were trying to snag an interview with him, whilst he was like the most down that I've seen him in the couple years that I've been doing this. And so yeah, I'm sure those days are a distant memory. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm sure something will happen. I mean, last year, Pascal Wehrlein was second in Mexico, got the 2 wins in Diriyah, had an all right Cape Town, Hyderabad, sorry, then in Cape Town, DNF lap 1. So it's Formula E. It's Formula E. Like it's never gonna be it's never gonna be plain sailing for everyone. So there will be a point when that comes, and he will have a bad day, but there's no reason to dwell on that at the moment, because he should be living his best life at the moment.
Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do actually, because the waiting room is actually filling up, so I think what we're going to do is we'll hold off on the Jake Dennis speak, and we'll get a caller in. I think Mr. Pickering, if you can let's drag Chris in to start. Right, Chris was the first caller we had last week, so I feel like we'll start with him again. Bring him in, Chris. Welcome back to the FE bar. What did you make of Diriyah?
I must be way behind on the YouTube.
Well, it is a stream, so yes, it's like very much on the radio. If you were to tune into the radio, yeah, you would be ahead of the stream that you're watching. That's how the internet works.
Chris, I had to watch
anyway,
on YouTube, and so I don't know what was said. Only Jack knows what was said in that interview.
Yeah, I know what was said.